What if the secret to higher energy, laser sharp focus, and unshakable confidence was something that you've been wasting every single day of your life? For thousands of years, ancient warriors, monks, spiritual leaders have practiced one form of discipline that most modern men ignore because, in their belief, it's a sin or it conserves energy, and that is semen retention. So in this video, we're going to dive into what it really is, the benefits backed by science and experience, and how it can change your life starting even today. So semen retention, let's start with like the definition of what it is, right? So as we all know, semen retention is the practice of intentionally or deliberately avoiding ejaculation in order to conserve your physical, mental, and like spiritual energy. But it doesn't mean that you can avoid intimacy. It just means like you don't explode when you're doing it. But it goes beyond that too, right? Like the point of it is to take your raw sexual energy that you have been conserving for a long period of time and turning it into drive, ambition, and overall self-control and discipline in your life. So it goes beyond that, right? And in yogic tradition, so in like yoga, really like old traditional yoga, and like just it's called brahmacharya, which is believed to increase your mental clarity and overall spiritual growth. But in today's world, in modern science, it's just known that after ejaculation, that men experience a huge drop in like dopamine, a huge drop in energy, oxytocin, and overall testosterone levels. And if you keep doing it over time, like consistently ejaculating on a daily basis, once, twice, three times a week, you're losing a lot of nutrients. You're losing a lot of dopamine. You're losing a lot of protein as well that your body needs. And over time, it can lead to brain fog, right? So you find it very difficult to retain information, to understand new forms of information, to be able to memorize things. You know, you have decreased motivation. I've noticed that when I used to jerk off consistently so many different times, once, three times, four times a day, or even for weeks on end, I didn't have motivation to go to the gym. I did not have motivation to go out and socialize with people, even especially girls. And I had an overall decreased focus, and I was very moody too. Very moody. I would argue with my parents. I would get mad over like small things. I would get mad over like the dumbest shit. Like all these things, all these negative things start happening, right? And this is what happens when you continuously bust a nut, right? It's not good. Okay. So let's talk about more specifically like the scientific and psychological benefits of semen retention. Okay. So there was a study that I read online that in 2003, in China, they found that just after 7 days of retention, your testosterone levels in men increased by 145%, right? And that they also discovered that testosterone is directly linked to confidence, motivation, muscle growth, and mental toughness. And this was a study that was like over 20 years ago. That's a long time ago. But it goes to show that even with all the studies that have been accumulated throughout those years, they all show very similar results, right? And dopamine, the neurotransmitter that's responsible for focus and for pleasure, is often hijacked or stolen by instant gratification like pornography, drugs, sex, constant sex, all of these types of things that constantly, even social media addiction, watching YouTube videos and reels. that focus and pleasure system, the dopamine, is taken away from you, right? But if you retain your semen, which contains pretty much the nutrients and all of the stuff that your body needs in order to focus and have a clear-headed mind and to be healthy overall, you can break the cycle of that dopamine addiction. It all comes down to you having self-control, right? Because if you're able to refrain from constantly ejaculating, constantly watching porn and jerking off and letting it all out, you are able to recalibrate your reward system, how your brain works, how you get reward. Everything when you stop doing this shit, you really feel like you earn something, you know? Like when you go out to talk to an actual girl or an actual human being, or when you actually go out to go to the gym and actually pull off a good workout, you feel like you feel rewarded for it. And the reward is actual natural dopamine hit that goes into your brain. Right? It's an actual achievement that you gain. It's an actual achievement. Having that nice meal that you created after working out, that chicken and broccoli, that's a reward for you. Right? Not watching pornography for months and years on end, not jerking off for months or years on end, and then one day you meet this right person and you actually do it with her or wherever, you actually gain so much pleasure from it. You gain satisfaction because you work towards that relationship with that person. And eventually it came down to actual intimacy, but you feel like it was well deserved. You feel like you waited long enough to actually gain real achievements. You will start feeling more ambitious about things. You will start training towards for sports. You become more competitive in sports. You start training for a marathon, or you may think outside of the box. And when you actually work hard, you feel it. You feel that you earn these things, not instant gratification where the urge is once you get an urge, you want to let it out right away. You want to let out that urge right away, right? You stop thinking an impulse, right? When you are able to control your sexual urges, you are able to control your impulses for many other things. The impulse to buy things, the impulse to as soon as you see a cigarette or you enter a casino, you want to start doing the slots and start gambling. Those addictions will slowly start to dissipate because you had the most powerful drug, sex and dopamine from sex. You were able to refrain from that, and it goes beyond that. It goes beyond to other things. You start having willpower for every other aspect of your life. You know, that's what happens, right? Also, what happens too with your body when you're in semen retention is that you start gaining energy shifts or spiritual shifts within your system. So before I talk about it, so ancient cultures, they believed that semen retention wasn't just fluid. It was like a life force, right? In Taoism and Hinduism, conserving your semen energy was seen as a path to enlightenment and inner power, right? So when you actually retain your seed, you're going to notice a shift in your aura. People are going to feel your presence a lot more. People seeing that you're more approachable to talk to. You just seem more confident in yourself. You start your body language starts changing. You start sitting up straight. You start standing up straight. You start giving continuous eye contact. You can continue a conversation with somebody, and it kind of even goes beyond that. What I'm about to say next, you can either believe me or you don't have to, but I'm telling you facts from my experience that even animals may start respecting you more. Dogs or cats, birds, like you will start noticing just a shift in energy. Maybe those animal dogs and cats will start to see you as more friendly. They'll start approaching you more. Strangers in public, when you go to a mall or a coffee shop or a public setting, they're going to start giving you more eye contact because they notice your energy, bro. They notice that your energy has changed, has shifted. Women are also going to start becoming more curious, and women know when you are on semen retention. You don't need to tell them. They know. They 100% know when you are conserving your seed. They just know it, bro. So overall, when you stop wasting your energy in your seed, when you stop doing that, you become a magnetic individual. You just become a magnet to the world around you. Okay. Not only this, semen retention also enhances your ability to meditate and to pray. If you are a religious person and you are on semen retention, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, if you're, whatever, a Buddhist, you will notice that when you start praying, you will have a more clear head. You will start being more connected to the higher power. When you are meditating, you will notice that you're able to meditate longer because you don't have all these crazy thoughts in your head. You have control. You have control. You start becoming more in the present moment. You start being more in the present moment. You go deeper. Your thoughts become overall clearer. And after a certain point, your true purpose is going to eventually start to reveal itself when you are on semen retention. Your purpose will reveal. Okay? And also the difference between a person who's on semen retention and a person who isn't is that a person who is on semen retention is still a boy. Sorry, a person who is not on semen retention is a boy. But a person who is on semen retention is a man. You are a man because you're driven. You're not controlled by your impulses. That's what a man is. If you want to be more mature as a guy, you want to be more manly, you got to stop doing that shit. Stop blowing your seed. And it goes not just beyond spiritual and energetic shifts. Your physical and overall lifestyle is going to improve. You're going to notice that you're going to have more energy. You're going to have more skin, more muscle mass. You're going to have a deeper voice. You're going to be able to recover from the gym quicker. Your workouts are going to become more intense. You may be able to grow a beard, but before you never could because your hormones were all effed up because you kept jerking off. But now that you don't, your natural manliness is going to start to show. It's going to start to show physically. Okay? Other people may even start to notice it before you do. Yo, why is your voice gotten so lower, bro? I never knew that you could grow a mustache like that. All the little patches on your beard that you couldn't grow out will eventually start to grow. Okay? So there's spiritual benefits and there's also physical benefits. There's mental benefits. There's so many benefits to semen retention that I don't know why every man is not doing this. If you have to be strong in this life, you cannot, as a man, you can't be weak. If you're weak in this life, bro, you're gonna be stomped to the ground. You're gonna be stomped in the ground, bro. You're gonna be hopeless and helpless and weak and frail. And that's not what a guy is, man. A guy has to be strong mentally. He has to be. There's no excuses. Even athletes like Muhammad Ali and they practice semen retention like days before a fight. A lot of fighters do that. A lot of MMA fighters do this, and they've noticed that their performance is enhanced when they fight. Monks may do it for spiritual growth, but athletes do it for performance purposes, not only just for mental strength. Because when you're in a fight, sometimes the winner is a person who has the most grit, the highest motivation, the most ferocious, and that comes from your level of testosterone in your body. It comes from your energy. It comes from your mindset. You don't give up. You have the don't give up mentality. That's how you're gonna win fights. So all of these benefits there's just so much benefits that you have no excuse. You have to do this. We all men have to do this. We all have to be called. Our true presence is calling us to do this. And it's very powerful, bro. It's a very powerful tool to do to be on semen retention. You won't be superhuman overnight. You're not gonna become Superman or Goku in one night. But it takes time. It takes weeks. It may take even months, and you're gonna start noticing all of the benefits, man. You're gonna become stronger. You're gonna become more clear with your purpose. You're gonna start high. Your motivation is gonna increase. Like all of these things are gonna happen, man. So I'm gonna leave you with this last sentence: retain your power, reclaim your life. Thank you for watching. See you next time.